So I'm Roger with Roger's Outdoor Channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about volunteering in the outdoors. Um, a lot of us, especially when we get to retirement age, if you don't have a lot of activities and that, a lot of variety in your activities, a number of people just kind of sit around and wilt away. What do I do today? Geez, I'm bored. There's nothing. I don't feel productive. And if you really kind of apply yourself to finding hobbies, enjoying hobbies, just getting involved with being outdoors and giving yourself little reasons for going outdoors. Like, okay, I've got somebody to go with on things that I'd like to, I want to go do this, and I want to take somebody and introduce them for the first time to this particular activity. That's a form of, you're doing something you like, and you are helping somebody discover a new hobby themselves. That's volunteering. So I'm going to try to talk to you a little bit about being a little creative in how you come up with your opportunities to volunteer outdoors. I volunteered with places like the Nature Conservancy, for example, and if they don't know what your skill set is, you might be good at a good lecturer, a good accountant, just have a number of things that you can do that would fit in with this organization. But if they don't know that, they say, oh, you want to pull some weeds today? And, that might not appeal to you. But, if you are a hiker and go out and help maintain some of the trails or something, they don't know that you can actually set up be a coordinator and get volunteers to go out on a certain day or something like that. So, it's up to you to kind of, if you see an organization you'd like to contribute to, contact them and, maybe go out and pull some weeds the first time or something. But once you say, okay, I like what they do, I want to be involved, don't hesitate to say, hey, here's what I'd like to do for you. And as a result, some of the things I do, I started out, I like to fish. I like salmon, and I'm into it. I understand salmon. And so eventually I started volunteering at the Issaquah hatchery just to take kids around and explain to them the life cycle of salmon, on these little tours that they bus in kids and say, show them around the hatchery for 45 minutes and tell them all about how we harvest eggs and how the salmon come back and all that sort of thing. Well, I started there, and then, gee, that's kind of fun, so I would go back and volunteer and help harvest the fish. And then that kind of led to, okay, you got all these eggs. How about if I take some of them and put them in streams in remote incubators? And they say, okay, you can do that. And just here's some of the paperwork you have to do and that sort of thing. And once you do that for a few years, you get a level of understanding and expertise, and you become a consultant. Fish and Wildlife calls me and has me volunteer and. When they are trying to decide what hatcheries need more eggs than others, and how to, what's a good way of, what stance should they have in sharing with the Native Americans some of the salmon things? What are some of the issues that should be discussed? So all of these ideas you can start, and then. I seek volunteers. I get people to come out and help me plant eggs, and I get people to, some of the high school kids, for example, need a certain amount of community service volunteer hours in order to, be able to meet their graduation requirements. And, I make it known that, hey, I need salmon volunteers or volunteers for other outdoor projects. And, and I'm able to get them. So, those are, the kind of outreach that, if you are volunteering and you're having fun doing it, like, okay, I like hamming it up while I'm lecturing people, and, I take, Boy Scout groups on walks where my wife and I used to gather edible wild food over in the Mercer Slough area. And, I talked to some, scout masters, and hey, I like lecturing and giving tours and stuff. You want to bring the kids over, and, we'll tell them a thing or two about the outdoors. These are some of the things that you can do on a larger scale. You can contact just your local parks and rec people and say, hey, do you need help doing something? I teach classes on, basic beginning fishing to kids 5 to 15, and take them, show them how to tie a knot, and then take them over to the dock and put on worms and see how many perch we can catch off the dock that day, and show them how to clean them and all those kinds of things, just fun stuff, just especially when you see a kid squealing, this is the first fish he ever caught, you really get into this volunteering spirit. You can have a good time. The other thing is, when you're going to do something like going out to the Ballard Locks, take somebody with you. If I take people if I'm picking wild asparagus or picking mushrooms. I'll go through a list of friends and say, hey, Charlie, have you ever, picked any wild asparagus? I feel like going this weekend. You want to come with me? And that's volunteering. That's getting people out there. You can volunteer around your own neighborhood. Some of the stuff I do in my neighborhood, I take I like to walk. And I walk around the neighborhood, and we've got bike paths and all that stuff. And blackberries grow out across the bike paths, and making the bikers kind of swerve out into the traffic sometimes. And, there's going to be an accident so I take along a pair of clippers and clip the blackberries back so that the bike path, people could stay on the path. They don't have to drive out into traffic. I try to, I like burning firewood, so I talk to the parks people and say, okay, hey, I noticed a tree came down in the park area over there. Can I harvest it? And they say, yeah, if you wait for us to do it, we're going to charge you, it's going to come out in your property taxes. But you can have all the wood you want out of this area, just help us clean it up. There's just a number of things, if you kind of use your imagination, use your skill set that you have, that this is fun for you. You got to be having fun out there doing it. But if you're volunteering, a lot of times that helps you have fun. So anyway, I hope that gives you a few ideas. Again, as with all my videos, I have companion articles that are free that you can download, look for them, that I talk about this volunteering thing in a little bit more detail. And then I have some, you may also like articles, and I've got even ebooks attached. So spend some time on my channel, browse around a little bit, see something that interests you. Don't hesitate to download it, or even buy one of my ebooks. That's a cool thing. They're only $4 or $5 a piece. So, and they have like 60, 70 articles in a lot of the things on a lot of different topics. So check them out, and I hope that you have a good time in the outdoors, and take somebody with you, and and just kind of enjoy these retirement years. It's a lot of fun out there, especially if you're out there volunteering.